friends, we are back. We are going to work on something in my living room that it's been in the back of my mind for a while now, and I thought I would take you along with me. I want to mess with the walls in the living room again. I know that could be very controversial for some of my followers, but I've got some ideas and some reasons behind why I'm doing them, and I want to show you the principles behind particularly the lime wash look and ways that you can get the look without actually buying a lime wash kit. So the reasons I am considering changing the walls, number one, our living room is still all crammed in basically the middle of the room because we've added subfloor. Subfloor is done, so that is good. We just finished all of the foundation. I thought we were all done, but there was more that my husband had to do underneath the center of the house, and he got that done yesterday. So I thought I would make some lemonade with the lemons in that room, meaning since everything is off the walls, since everything is all crammed in the middle, it would be the perfect time to mess around with changing the walls in there. So I thought, let's do it. And I love the room. Don't get me wrong. I do love the room. I guess I should catch you up for those of you that are new here. I had changed a white living room. It's a beautiful room. I love the room. But I had changed it to a very dramatic other end of the spectrum look with a dark academia look. And used this color called slate tile. And it is a really muted, deep blue. And it's on everything. I did the millwork. I did not do the ceiling, but I did the millwork and I did the walls, and even the settee is the same color. So it's very dark in there. It's very heavy, especially compared to what it used to be. And it's fine when you're in there. I did a lot of thought about how many lamps were in there and how much white versus gold versus blue and brown, everything in this space. So honestly, when you're in the space, it feels fine. When it does not feel fine is when I'm filming and photographing in there. And unfortunately, that is my life. Not unfortunately. Fortunately, that is my life. I have to have cameras in rooms in my house, and so that one has been a beast to work in and to try to edit, and it's because the cameras don't do as well as the human eye in a space. And so the darkness in that room and the contrasts in there are really hard for cameras to deal with. I'm getting a new camera. It arrives at 6:15 tonight, and I am going to share it with you. Also, though, I feel like I could continue to develop the walls even more in the room. I have a design group called Behind the Scenes. We meet every week on Thursdays via Zoom, and we declutter our entire homes. We go through my entire interior design academy, and I teach you professional interior design. We have a really incredible Bible study, and we do other really fun things, like there's prizes, there are live meetups, sometimes trips, and we have movie nights. And so on these movie nights, I particularly choose movies that have really incredible, inspiring interior design in them. And we watch them as a group virtually, and then we chat on the side. You can see us chatting, and we talk about the different things that we love in each of the scenes. And it's just fun to watch a movie from almost strictly an interior design perspective and just to share it with people who understand. And so we watched The Pride and Prejudice with Keira Knightley in it, and it was that night that I thought, I remember I was sitting in my fireside room watching the movie and looking at my living room over the top of my laptop and thinking, oh my gosh, I could try this in my living room. So if you're familiar with the designs in those movies, which if you're not, you gotta watch that movie this week. But there's the Bennett household, and we'll say Lizzie's house. We'll call it Lizzie's house. And those walls, a lot of the walls in there were blue, but then they had a faux painting, sort of old world aging technique done to them. Pretty similar to a lime wash is what I would say. And then, so that's one look. So if you're on Team Lizzie, tell me in the comments below. Then there's Charlotte's house. So Charlotte married Mr. Collins, if you know the story. And her house is a lot more, I feel like just a lot simpler. Not this like dramatic old world feel, but it has just like solid colors, block print, wallpaper, minimal antiques, really sweet. I really like Charlotte's house as well. And so that would be my second choice. And then the third house would be, of course, Pemberley, which is outrageously gorgeous and extravagant and luxurious. And that doesn't really fit with the house that I'm in currently, so we're not even gonna look at that. But Team Lizzie or Team Charlotte? Tell me what you think for my living room. So the way that that would translate is I would either do that faux painting look, which is really easy for me to do. I'll show you how to do it. That's the Lizzie look. And then I have a light blue. I have a bunch of samples, so I have to narrow that down. But I could do a light blue on the walls and then leave the trim dark in here, and of course the door is dark and stuff. One thing I don't like about Team Charlotte look is that I feel like from the adjacent room, I don't really like how the colors are like stacking up. You do have to look at that, you know, you gotta stand in every room and look at every angle and see how things are layering in the whole house, you know. So I don't necessarily love the light blue against this like Revere Pewter by Benjamin Moore. That's the color in the fireside room, and I don't know, they're too similar side by side. The faux painting one I told Colby about, and he does not like faux painting. So his background is, well, we had a painting company for a decade, and he's been professional painting since he was 10 years old. And so he is really good at painting, and he has a degree in mechanical engineering. Okay, so his mind is just very methodical, and there are processes and there are ways to do this, and there are ways that everybody does it and it always turns out, like that kind of a mindset. And then there's me that views this a lot more like an art form, and I'm just more of a free spirit, especially when it comes to painting. I told him I was thinking about faux painting these living room walls because it's a great time, right, with all the furniture the way it is. And he got kind of nervous, and he said, well, I don't know how to do that, so if you want to try it, you can try it, but then the problem is you're going to add texture to the walls, and then who's going to take that off if we want to go back, you know, to a different look. And so I volunteer. I'm going to sand down these walls. You heard it here. I'm going to sand them down if necessary, but I don't think it is necessary because I'm not actually going to do a lime wash. It looks like a lime wash, and you can spend, I think, you know, a pretty penny on lime wash kits from different companies and actually put texture on the walls. One, I don't want to spend the money. I want to use what I have on hand because I have so many paint samples and products that need to get used up. So, I mean, I'm just literally using this little sample from Annie Sloan, and I think I could do my entire living room in this because I'm watering it down so much. So that's your first layer, is you're just like toning down a color that's already on the wall. And then your second layer is to add a brown, like a chocolatey brown. Same thing, you can water it down, put it on there, and that gives this like aged dimension going on. And it goes really fast. I'm actually not even gonna tape off anything. I'm just gonna be careful to get next to the millwork. I think I can do this pretty fast, like before Colby comes home from work today. So he doesn't have to like see it and stress. So I'm gonna actually, I tried both. I tried the blue, and it is not 100% my favorite. Like, I feel like the faux painting does look better, and it's such an easy process that I'm just gonna go with it and do the whole room and then put everything back and then see if we like it. And if we don't, well, then I'll do the more labor intensive job of actually painting the walls the light blue. And I think what I'll do is in a week revisit it and say, you know, how did it feel? Did it feel like it lightened the room up enough? Did I feel like it had that Pride and Prejudice feel I was going for? So the other thing is I don't have any chocolate brown paint. I thought I did. So I am going to actually I'm just gonna add some of my furniture wax to the wall, and this is something that you can paint over. So don't be afraid of furniture wax if that's what you have, just to add a little bit of dimension. It's a pretty simple technique. You can always add more, so just start with a layer and then step back and decide if you want to add more white or you want to add more brown. But I'm just going to work some texture and depth in with furniture wax actually. So yeah, let's go get this room done. All right, I just mixed 2 teaspoons of that paint with a 1/4 cup of water. Now I'm gonna apply it to the wall. I dip once and then I do the cross hatches or the X's on the wall, and as soon as there's a drip I catch that and then I work that into the wall, and I just go and go and go until my brush goes dry, and then I just stop. That's when I bring in the rag and I blot it, and I blot out any of the brush strokes and any of the drips. I'm wanting it to just look really, really muted and mottled. I'll show you a close up here. If I do get any paint on the trim, which I am periodically doing, I'm just gonna come back with, I call it the oops rag, and I just touch, it just has water, and I'll wipe it down here in a second, just to give it that crisp, a little crisp edge that I want. Okay. Okay, so now I'm coming back over with a clear chalk paint wax, and the good thing about this is that these products are all meant to work together. So I'm just doing a really light, I just have this old soft t-shirt. I'm doing a really light layer. You don't want it to feel sticky at all. You're doing way too much of it feels sticky. It just feels smooth, like I've just conditioned, that's what I'm doing, is I'm conditioning the wall before I add in some of the brown depth. And I just kind of work it into the wall. This is the same way that you wax furniture. And I am working it in circles. And I'll do like a square foot section at a time, and then I'll get a little bit more. Do it again. So, real simple, just a lot when you're doing a wall. Okay, now I'm coming in, which is this is the dark wax, Annie Sloan. And I'm coming in with just a touch of it, okay? So do not overdo this part. This is called a sift brush. Can you see that? These are really nice for waxing, but I'm just gonna kind of put it in place. Like that much is plenty. And then I'm just gonna circle, 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 circle. Don't do too much, just a touch. And it should go on real smoothly with that clear wax that we just did. And remember, if I change my mind, this is gonna cure and I can just paint over it just like I would with any other paint. So I'm not worried about changing my mind. I mean, this is so much easier to change than say like a wallpaper, because I'm just literally gonna paint over it. There's no real texture here. This is all created as an illusion, this texture. So I do like this better than a true lime wash, because lime wash really does put texture on your walls. It's very thick. I almost think it doesn't need the brown. I might put the room back together and just leave that section over there with the brown and this with the clear, and then think about it. Let me finish this section. I'll put this part of the room back together and let's look at it. Colby did come home in the middle of this. It's not that I couldn't do it. I don't want to say that I'm like sneaking or anything. But I know that it stresses him out to see it. So I was trying to get done before he saw it. But he walked in and he laughed and he was like, actually, I really like it. So he's great like that. Okay, so we did decide that yes, this side looks more legit. It looks more old world. And this side, I mean, it's fine, but it doesn't have that old aged depth that I'm going for. So yeah, you know, if you are struggling with trying to figure out paint colors, sometimes do a whole wall and then set the room back up, and it might inform you the direction you need to go. So I'm going to continue on. I'm going to add more dark wax on this side, get this corner styled up, and then just continue on. If you ever feel like your dark wax isn't blending well on whatever substrate you're working on, just take a little more clear wax. This is my clear wax rig, and buff it in, and it will help soften it and smooth it out better.